Welcome everyone to another Price Channels training video. Now in this video I want to discuss the actual parameters of price channels, because the textbook way to have a price channel drawn on your chart is to have two parallel lines like this, and the idea is that the market will move between these two parallel lines. Now, in our training, we teach you when you're drawing your trend lines in your channels, mostly your trend lines, that you need to use the outermost boundaries of any given moves that you're, marking up. But the problem with that, now it's what it is it's the safe, beginner-friendly way to do it. It's the most consistently profitable way to do it. However, you'll find that it is slightly limiting. It does cause you to miss out on some solid trade opportunities. And as you grow as a trader, you're going to want to search for that freedom to be able to do these slightly differently. So in this video, I'm going to be addressing a little bit about these boundaries, a little bit of the wiggle room to the rules, how things actually play out in the real market conditions and stuff like that. So here's a typical channel that you would think of, but normally not like all the time, but enough to where it's important to talk about. Your channel will actually look something like this. Let's go ahead and make this black. It'll look something like that, okay? Or maybe it will look something like that, okay? Notice how in each of these cases, they're not perfectly parallel. It's just essentially two different trend lines one's forming a resistance on top of your head. The other one is forming a support beneath you. Both of these cases, see right here, it's not about being perfectly parallel. It's about understanding where is my resistance, and specifically we're talking about diagonal resistance, and where is my support, specifically diagonal support. That's what it's really about. So when you compare your textbook channel with the parallel lines, yeah, that's a great starting point. And when you talk about trend lines with using the outermost boundaries, yes, that's the beginner-friendly way, the most reliable way to draw your trend lines and then, of course, end up creating your channels. But key concept here as you advance in these subjects is to understand what you're truly doing. You're trading price between different types of supports, different types of resistances, all based on supply and demand, core concepts that we teach here at New Investments. So with this being said, hopefully you guys can kind of follow what I'm talking about, but we're going to go into the charts now. We're going to look at practical examples of parallel channels versus the real channels. So let's just scroll on down here. We didn't really go too far, but okay, right over here. And I haven't been to this area or anything yet, so I'm just kind of pulling up a random area and walking through it, whatever I see. So let's look at, let's see here. Let's look at this area right in here. All right, let's look at this area. So this is a price channel. Now notice if you channel this up like so, and you pull it down, it doesn't really match up well. You can see that, let me get rid of this yellow here. You can see that around this area it got a little messy. It doesn't really seem to give you a strong indication of the trend change at that moment. And it doesn't really, you only got one real connection down here. It seems like all of the bottoms are somewhere else. See that? All right, so this is going to be our first example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this off, and then I'm going to draw the real channel. The real channel, here's your resistance, here's your support. This is the real channel. It is not parallel, okay? It's not this parallel channel here. It's that. Why is it this? Because again, remember, we're looking for where is our diagonal support and where is our diagonal resistance. Okay, and in this instance, the support and resistances are not horizontal. They're forming different steepness in their trends. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not about that. It's about the concepts of what is moving price. And it's these areas. These are our boundaries that we want to be trading off of. Now notice this too. So let me get rid of these yellow areas here. All right, notice this too. When we break this channel, notice how it was a pretty strong indicator of a trend change now. Because now when this breaks, yeah, we continue to go down, like so. All right, so there's a practical example of what that actually looks like. Let's zoom over here and see if we can find some more. All right, so we're gonna do this one right here. Let's see how this one turns out. So we're going to mark this with a channel here, like so. Now, does that look right? Honestly, does that look right? Not really, right? Why does it not look right? Because, okay, yes, that was a resistance, but then this is your peak. These are your peaks right in here. So something's wrong about this. Let's get rid of those. I'm going to pull this off. What was the actual channel? The actual channel was the resistance was right here in this area. See, that's where price was really rejecting and holding at. Down here, how do you trap the price down here? Like so. That was your channel. That was your price channel. Okay, it's not perfectly parallel. It comes in, it traps and snaps together. But then look how it works. Price broke, retested, found resistance, dropped. Okay, compare that to the textbook channel. It still worked on the break and retest and drop. Didn't really tell you much about the actual resistance though. And on a bigger scale, that's going to be a problem. So let's zoom back out. Let's see if we can find another solid example here. Let's see. All right, so right here, we've clearly got a support, and then here's a break and retest right here. So noting this, there's clearly some kind of channel here. We would have been trading this in the live market, and if you're using the textbook version of this, it'll look something like this. Okay, you would have used this area right here as your resistance, used it for your parallel line, and then it doesn't really do you any good. Now, why did it not do you any good? The reason why is because, make these white. It's because even though this was our support down here, our resistance, look, came through here. Did it not? That was the resistance. So that was your real channel. All right? Important to see this. So here we go, I believe we're to the live market. Yes, okay. So here's an example as well that I wanted to share with all of you. And it doesn't have to do necessarily with perfectly parallel channels, but this one actually has to do with boundaries. So although there are some interesting examples of non-parallel channels in here and watching them at work, kind of getting an idea. They're not perfectly parallel in the real market a lot of the time. Sometimes they are. In this case, it was fairly parallel. But okay, so check this out. So this is also really important. This is actually a live trade that I placed on gold. Now on this trade, it was such a simple setup. I had this channel identified. So we had this, and then we had this. We had these areas here, and we had this, and we had this. Okay, so and then price was live market. All right, live market price was right there. So I didn't get to see any of this yet, and I was using this data over here to form these boundaries right here, these channel boundaries. Now, my question to you is on the channel support, am I using the outermost boundary? No, I'm not. The outermost boundary would look something like this, something like that, noting this right here, and then again these same areas right here. So instead of using these two areas, what did I elect to do? I elected to use this area, these areas, and then this area. So why did I ignore the wick down here? Well, part of it is understanding, again, kind of understanding that flow of the channel, understanding where the true support really lies. If you look at this area, and if I bring this out to this wick down here, is that really where our support is? And I guess I should bring this side in a little bit too. Is that really where our support is? Because the other channel, when you connect here and pull through, seems a lot more like the support to me. See, we found support here, support here. Yes, a wick came through it, but it held. Support here, support here, support here, support here, support here. And then look what happened in the live market. Yes, price wick through a little bit, ultimately held. When it held and closed here, I bought, took profit at the top of the channel, and then good thing I did because price fell right back down to our channel support right after that. So this is one of those instances where, and that's why I really wanted to make this video to touch on both of these things, is that we teach these concepts about channels and trend lines and such as, you know, general understandings, conceptual understandings, and I mean practical applications as well. But just know that in the real markets, some of these things aren't so concrete. You don't every single time have to use the most outermost boundary. You don't every single time, it doesn't have to be perfectly parallel. Those aren't the concepts that are actually important. Those rules are just there to help you apply the concepts until you're able to fully understand what they mean. What's really important is where's the support, where's the resistance, where's the supply, where's the demand. That's what's really important, and everything else is just telling you how to try and spot that. But when you grow and you start to realize what's important with these concepts and truly understand what you're doing, that's when you can start to bend these rules a little bit and figure out what the real solid opportunities are for trades at any given time. So again, depending on where you're at with your trading, this video may or may not resonate very strongly with you. If you're still a beginner at these concepts, then I would just stick to the basics for now. If you're further along in your trading and this video made a lot of sense to you, then good. I'm glad that you got the value, and I hope that this allows you to expand your trading arsenal and become a more advanced trader. Let us know if y'all have any more questions about these topics, and we'll upload more videos. Thanks for watching.